First impressions are everything, especially when it comes to anime villain. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that one of the key differences between average villains and truly unforgettable ones lies in how they make their debut. From the moment they appear, they need to strike fear into the hearts of main character and the viewers, or at the very least, do something incredibly cool that sticks in fans' minds. In this video, I'll be sharing what I believe are some of the best villain introductions in anime.
Long time, Levi. Still a runt, or have you grown some? Woohoo! Nope. Don't look like you've changed much at all, boy. Kenny!
Kenny Ackerman's entrance in Attack on Titan marks a much-needed change of pace after seasons of primarily fighting Titans. He might not carry the same imposing figure as the Titans, but he's just as dangerous, if not more so. Kenny, the serial killer, brings a different kind of fear, one rooted in human malice. This is one of my personal favorites, largely because of how masterfully it uses atmosphere. The entire scene keeps the audience on edge, wrapped in an ominous ambience. The calmness feels unnatural, like it's hiding something terrible, and Levy's internal monologue reflects exactly what we're all thinking. Something's off, and we can sense it, but we're powerless to stop it. Then it hits. Chaos erupts, people fall dead in an instant, and Levi is suddenly facing a terrifying new enemy. This isn't a mindless Titan. It's someone human, someone far more vicious and intent on killing. Levi may be a master at taking down Titans, but this battle is something else entirely. It's an incredible way to end the first episode of Season 3. The manga set it up well, but the anime elevated the scene to something truly unforgettable.
You've got it backwards. You'll pay for calling yourselves heroes. Time to hunt!
From aliens to heroes, our next spotlight lands on Garou. One Punch Man's second season takes a different route from the more episodic style of Season 1, opting instead to introduce an overarching villain right from the start. In a world filled with powerhouse heroes and ridiculously strong villains like Boros, the bar is set high, and Garou doesn't disappoint. He steps into the spotlight as the self-proclaimed hero hunter, a role that demands more than just strength. It requires sheer fearlessness and conviction. So how does Garou prove he's worthy of the title? Simple, by going full one-man army and taking down everyone in his path. Heroes, villains, it doesn't matter. If you're in his way, you're going down. After all, the strongest must be able to dominate all challengers, right? The wild part is, this is only the beginning. His mission to take down heroes adds a fascinating layer to the story, but as with any great arc, it all hinges on the first impression. And in that regard, Garou absolutely nailed it. Coming up next is none other than Madara Uchiha. And really, can any other shonen villain debut even come close? For years, we'd only heard the legends, his unmatched power, the impact he had on the ninja world, his mythic status. But when he was finally resurrected and proceeded to wipe out an entire division without breaking a sweat, that was peak final boss material. Despite over a decade of Naruto buildup, Madara's arrival still managed to surpass all expectations. He wasn't just a name spoken in awe. He proved every bit of the legend true. One of the most unforgettable scenes was him tearing through the Kage like it was nothing. And let's not forget how he helped deliver Guy's greatest moment ever. To be honest, Kaguya didn't need to be in the story. Madara was just too powerful, too iconic, which is probably why Kishimoto had to find a way to remove him. That alone speaks volumes, and if you think about it, it's a hilarious bit of meta commentary in its own right. Up next is Meruem, and just as expected, he's one of those villains who leaves an immediate and lasting impression, quite literally. He's among the rare few we meet right from the moment of birth, and what an entrance he makes. His first act? Tearing his way out of the Queen, and ruthlessly eliminating a few fellow Chimera ants without hesitation. It's brutal, sure, but fitting for someone born to be king. He wastes no time stepping into that role, issuing commands with absolute authority. The moment is short, but it says everything about who Meruem is. Cold, ruthless, and an overwhelming threat to everyone opposing him. And that's exactly why his character evolution hits so hard. From a narrative perspective, who could have predicted that such a ruthless monarch would undergo such a profound transformation by the end of his story arc?
And right then, the king calmly and easily passed between them without the slightest hint of fear.
Let's shift back to a more action-driven debut. And this one comes from what I believe is one of the strongest anime movie openings, brought to us by Luo Lang. In a film packed with intense sword fights and brutal combat, it's crucial to set up the final antagonist, the ultimate challenge the hero must overcome. And with a movie's limited runtime compared to a full series, Sword of the Stranger wastes no time showcasing just how dangerous Luo Lang is. Much like Gotou's introduction, we watch a single man decimate an entire squad. But unlike Gotou, Luo Lang doesn't rely on supernatural powers. He's purely human. His skill alone is enough to carve through a battalion like it's nothing. This is the final enemy, the true test for our hero. And facing someone like Luo Lang will demand everything the protagonist has, and maybe even more, for the smallest chance at victory.
Were you the one behind this? You bastard!
Where's the master?
Don't tell me. It's Muzan!
Next on the list is Muzan. His introduction stands out as one of the more unconventional ones. Unlike most villains, there's no immediate display of overwhelming strength, no intense face-off with a major character. Instead, we see him seamlessly blending into a crowd, maintaining a calm, composed presence while still exuding danger. He does turn a human into a demon, which subtly hints at the immense power he holds and the threat he poses. But there's no grand fight like what we saw with someone like Garou or Meruem. And just as quickly as he shows up, he's gone. It's a surprisingly low-key debut when you compare it to other major villains. Still, it's a strong introduction in its own right. After finishing the manga, I realized how perfectly that moment set the tone for Muzan's character, the way he operates, the type of villain he truly is. Even how his story ends makes more sense when you reflect on how he first appeared. It's the kind of moment that gains more meaning the more you look back on it.
Who is this guy? What just happened? He took out 3 pros in an instant.
We have to run. I know that, but
I'm so scared that my legs, my body won't move.
All for One takes his place on this list in a massive way. For the longest time, we only knew him by name, the legendary villain who stands as the complete opposite of All Might, the symbol of peace and justice. His reputation alone carried so much weight, yet we had never actually seen him in action, until that fateful moment. Almost no one knew what he truly looked like, but the reaction said everything. The expressions on the heroes' faces were filled with raw fear and disbelief, as All for One emerged from the ruins. Just his presence alone was enough to drain the hope from every soul nearby. And to top it off, he effortlessly takes down Best Jeanist, further proving just how dangerous he really is. This debut was all about building on the hype. After everything that had been said about him, All for One finally stepped into the spotlight, and he absolutely lived up to the legend. The stakes skyrocketed, and it genuinely felt like the heroes were facing certain doom. What followed was an unforgettable clash with All Might, one of the most iconic battles in anime, even if it wasn't technically the final one. Still, it felt like the end of an era, a symbolic farewell to the world of My Hero Academia as we knew it up to that point. Talking about shows where people morph into terrifying creatures, let's not forget Gotou from Parasyte. When I first started watching the series, I wasn't entirely sure what the endgame was. Sure, there's the whole protecting humans from alien invaders setup, but I kept wondering, where's the mastermind? The final boss-type character whose defeat would bring this chaos to an end? That lingering question kept my curiosity burning as the story unfolded. Then comes this narrow-eyed man, Gotou, A guy who casually talks about testing his limits while effortlessly butchering Yakuza members like they're nothing. He moves with unnatural speed, striking with just his bare hands. What really blew my mind, though, was how he tanked bullets and blades like they were mere annoyances, just brushing them off to show how powerful he truly is. When the mask finally comes off after the slaughter and we see his true form, that's when it hit me. This is the guy. The one destined for a climactic battle with Shinichi, total final boss vibes. And when that confrontation eventually came, it delivered, packed with intensity, emotion, and non-stop action. To wrap things up, have Utsuro from Gintama. From the beginning, he carried an unsettling sense of mystery, both before and after his official introduction. If I had to draw a comparison from earlier entries, I'd say his debut reminds me of Muzan's. Not because he avoids combat, he absolutely wrecks everyone in sight, but more because of how unassuming he first appears. Even the main characters didn't expect that this seemingly random masked figure would turn out to be one of the most overpowered beings in anime. Yet there he was, wiping the floor with 3 opponents at once without breaking a sweat. It was a major twist that left everyone stunned. What's even crazier is knowing this wasn't him at full power. This battle was just a preview, an appetizer, for what Utsuro would bring to the table later. His mix of technique and ridiculously overpowered abilities made him an unforgettable force as the story unfolded. And that wraps up the list. Did you find the villains that you're looking for? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you had a good time, and I wish to see you again.